Well, it's official. UFC 271 is here, and what would it be without another casual point of view for those of you who give a flying rat's ankle? This one dedicated to, as they all are, Jackie Mack forever. Let's get started with the boys. But first, this.
Cause I'm the king of the casuals, the casual king. I'm the king of the casuals, the casual king.
I don't like the wrestling in MMA wrestling. I love it personally.
I love jiu-jitsu. Okay, look, I love jiu-jitsu.
The king of the casuals, the casual king. King of the casuals, the casual king. Cause ain't nobody bringing you the casual thing.
I like that intro, man. I always find myself just start banging my head a little bit. Yeah,
I do
like
it. I'll be driving around in the car going, I'm the king of the casuals, the casual king. And then I realize, Jesus, I'm talking in the third person.
Yeah.
That's not right. It's
No,
just me
not.
and me, though.
I have a very strict rule about talking about myself in third person.
Yeah, I don't do
all
it
the time.
Nate doesn't do that, does he?
Yeah.
Definitely doesn't.
Yeah, King Casual never does that. There's some humility in this whole thing, I think. Speaking of humility, though, Joe Rogan had a tough week, didn't he? But
Like, there's nothing you can do to cancel him. His fan base is so large, and by people attacking him like this, especially his hardcore fans who have listened to him for a long time, this just makes them dig their heels in. So,
Not to mention, what are you gonna do? You're gonna not allow him at your venues for stand-up comedy? Great. He's literally built his own comedy
right.
shop down there in Austin, so he's always gonna have a stage. But the thing about what Izzy said, the question wasn't even posed to Izzy. It was posed to Dana, and Izzy was like, let me get this one, So he didn't even have to say anything. He could have sat there quietly. No. He didn't have to say anything about it, but he was the one that said, I got this one, and said what he said. So, respect to the champ, and I still hope he gets beat tonight, but
who are these people?
Well, I'm pretty against large generalizations, but you never know.
I like generalizing everything. I was in the sauna, and we were all speaking of it. We were talking about Rogan, and I looked around and I said, I feel like I'm in the United Nations right now. This is great to have this conversation because I was surrounded by every religion, every race, creed, color. It was like 12 of us in there, and right, so. Indeed. The Jewish guys, it's funny. And the Jewish guys, of course, were the first ones to say what they call, we're talking about slurs. So I said, I'm a Mick. And everybody, I was like, oh, some people didn't even know that. And a couple of Ukrainian guys in there were talking. And then the Russian guy said, well, what is a slur or a put down two Russians? And I said, Ukrainian. And we all laughed, but it was just, we had a good time just get blowing each other's shit. And it reminded me that, like, if you're blowing each other's shit, I saw that look on Jake's face.
You just said it again in the exact same way, and it still sounded just as bad. I wasn't going to say anything out loud. I couldn't hide the what.
We're giving each other a hard time there. Still, I just can't stop.
Not any better.
You know what, though? I'm okay with it. I mean, maybe that's what I want to do next. I might just switch to that soon. What are you going to do?
I mean, you were already in some kind of Russian.
There you go.
I don't know.
There were people from Pakistan. There were people from Lebanon. There were people from Iraq, and then me, the token white boy.
What in the world?
I know.
Where are you? No, I don't want to know.
Up the street.
Actually,
Lifetime Fitness. It's all good. Anyway, UFC 271.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Let's talk about it. So, and let's start with we'll just do the main card here because there's lots to talk about. First off, the first fight that interests me because Bobby Green against Nasrat. I can't pronounce his last name. Let me try. Nasrat Hasparat. Close?
Yeah, we'll go with that.
So anyway, he's 13-4. Bobby Green's 28-12, but Bobby Green's good. I mean, he lost to Feziev, but everybody loses to Feziev. He's going to be your champion at 155 soon.
You think so?
No, but I like to say things like that just because it sounds bold. He might. I don't know if he's big enough, but God, he can kickbox. I don't. He may
definitely
not be.
can.
I don't know if he has the wrestling pedigree that some of the other guys in that
The
division
lightweight,
do.
yeah, that division is so stout.
But he could beat any of those guys because of his striking on a given day. Anyway, so who wins that fight, Bobby Green or Nasrat?
I got to go with experience. I got to go with Bobby Green. I mean, just look at his record. You know, he's got almost double the amount of wins than his opponent does fights. So I got to go with experience. Go with Mr. Green.
Nate Lee.
Yeah, Bobby Green. You know, he's got power. He's
Good head movement.
Yeah, good head movement.
His movement's phenomenal. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna take. Where is Nasrat from?
Afghanistan.
Really? Cool. Well, I don't know the background on what Afghanistan. The reason I asked is I was like, okay, if he's Brazilian, maybe he's a jiu-jitsu guy. If he's from Dagestan, maybe he's a wrestler. But I don't know. So I'm gonna just go with Bobby Green because I think you're right. The experience. All right. The lightweight fight of that could be a lot of fun is Moicano versus Alexander Hernandez, who Hernandez pissed me off the time he fought Cowboy Cerrone and was super disrespectful. But then Cowboy did us all a favor and knocked him out. So
he's my pick, actually. I hope
he can fight.
Yeah, you can definitely fight for sure. But I think from what I saw of this training camp of his, went really, really well. He's put on just lean muscle. He looks really good. And I think you'll see the striking is even better. It was good before, but I think his striking is going to be even better than it was.
Yeah, he can fight. He's not likable, but he can fight. Nate.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. I was just looking at Moicano's record. He's 2-3 in his last 5 fights. Yeah, I'm going to go with Alexander. I don't know. I just get worried when it looks like he's been KO'd a lot recently. So,
yeah.
Who has?
Moicano.
Yeah, he has. And Alex is fighting in his home state anyway, so there's that. Although sometimes that goes against you. He was pissed off because he didn't make the main card, but I don't.
He's not a big draw.
But I think it was Chael Sonnen, who I watch a lot, said that's a great place to be where he's at. There's two main cards, so he was right. All right. Now, the next fight, Jared Cannonier, whose hair looked really cool, looked totally different with his hair pulled back.
I'm super excited for this fight.
That guy's huge, man.
Against massive.
Yeah, against Derek Brunson. This is a tough call because this is.
I'll go first. I mean, I think Brunson's got this. The way that he wrestled in his last match, I think, and just looking at right prior to us doing this, I was looking at Cannonier, trying to figure out what his takedown defense was. But it doesn't look like Cannonier shoots very often. And I just, off the top of my head, I couldn't remember how good Cannonier was with his wrestling. But Brunson, like the way that he looked in his last match with Gastelum.
Yeah, Kelvin Gastelum, Nate. It's Kelvin Gastelum.
Kelvin Gastelum.
Galvin Castellum.
Castellum.
Junior.
It just looked like his wrestling overpowered him, and Gastelum is a really great fighter. So,
not just a great fighter, but Gastelum's a great wrestler too.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
So to say that Brunson was able to manhandle, and I would say he was when it came to the wrestling, he was able to manhandle him. Shows how good Brunson's wrestling has gotten. But Cannonier's aggressiveness, I think Cannonier, this is an awesome fight. This is honestly just as exciting for me as the main card or the main event. This fight is really exciting. It's a toss up for me, but I think I'm going to go with Cannonier.
So I think that I'm listening to both of you. I know both fighters fairly well. I've seen a lot of their fights. I think tonight the striker and stronger guy wins. Brunson only has 2 fights left, no matter what, on his contract, and I feel like he's gotten so close. And I feel like he's the guy who got so close but never could get the title.
Yeah.
And I'm not. It is what it is. There's only one amazing, the great. He's still an amazing fighter, but Cannonier, I think, is going to beat him.
You know what? There's a lot of guys. When you say that, that makes me think of like Alexander Gustafsson or like those guys that are just so good, but they just couldn't. There was that guy that stood above them that they couldn't get past.
Chael Sonnen was 20 seconds away from it.
Holy smokes!
Right? I mean, like we've seen that many times. Derek Lewis has had who's fighting tonight and is our next fight to talk about. He's had 2 shots, and I bet you he gets another one before it's all said and done because he's on any given day he beats everybody in that division. But
this is a fight for him though, because they're gonna stand there and bang.
Yeah. Well, I've seen Tai Tuivasa. Jack and I went and saw Tai Tuivasa. We went and saw Yoel Romero and Whitaker in Chicago. Crazy. And that was a great fight card. We saw Claudia Gadelha was on that card. That crazy guy from Chicago, Clay Guida. It was Rashad Evans' last UFC fight that night, and we saw Kobe Covington fight that night against I think it was Rafael Dos Anjos. So anyway, Tai is good, and that's the night I learned about the shoey.
Huge fan of the shoey.
I'll go first on this one though. I'm gonna say Derek Lewis.
I don't know. I'm just gonna say I want Derek Lewis to win.
All right, going with your heart.
Going with my heart. I hope it happens.
Nately.
I'm gonna go. Derek Lewis knockout.
All right, so all 3 of us with Derek Lewis. All right, well, that brings us to maybe one of the fights that the first fight I was shocked by how it went down. And then again, Whitaker has been at the time had been through 10 rounds with maybe the toughest fighter of all time in Yoel Romero. So who knows? But I feel like Whitaker is definitely not going to lose in the first round this time. That I can guarantee you. He's probably going to be very.
This is a good fight. Whitaker has looked really strong in his comeback to the title. I like Whitaker. I think he's a stand-up dude. I think, like I said, he's been getting better since he's come back, and now he's back fighting for the title again. And I honestly, I think he wants it more tonight than Izzy does.
Yeah.
Now, and I'm going to preface this by saying I like Stylebender as much as Jamie likes Conor McGregor. Like I think Stylebender, I think he's on a different level. I think he's on that Anderson Silva level right now. The way he looked, he legitimately, and we can see this now, stole Paulo Costa's soul. Like he's never been the same since he fought him.
So that was a good fight.
I'm gonna go with Adesanya because even though I want Whitaker to win, my heart says Whitaker, my brain says Whitaker's. I don't know if Whitaker believes he can beat him.
Okay. You can't half-ass anything with Adesanya.
No.
Can't. Yeah.
That's why I'm picking him.
Yeah.
And I like both the guys.
I do too. I think it's Whitaker's time.
I hope you're right.
What he can do. Yeah.
I hope you're right. I love how Israel Adesanya shit all over Ali Abdelaziz for trying to get the trying to talk about Usman and Israel fighting, and Israel just cut it off. He's like, that guy doesn't know what he's talking about, and it was very satisfying because you don't hear many fighters except for, of course, McGregor shit all over him because Ali can't stop talking about McGregor 4 years later.
Wow. Yeah.
I think he probably had a crush on him at one time, like Khabib did.
McGregor shut him down, and he's gone now.
Yeah, he's hurt. He wanted McGregor to be Noah's stepfather, and I know, right? I had to. They called me this morning and said I had to. Horrible news. I love you both.
Love you guys. Have a good day.
Jackie Mac.
Jackie Mac forever. Jackie Mac forever.
All right, guys.
I miss him.